Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John. Jeff, yes, you're first. Of course, you're first in my heart anyway. If you're not first on screen, you're first right here, pal. Love you, man. Matter of fact, we got to talk. You and me, DGen, Craig, Alfredo, everybody's got to talk today. I'm going to actually, Ken, I will get to you all after the show's over, after the second show's over, about something I want to talk to you about. And I'll actually announce it here, but I want to make sure that we all have a chance to chat for a minute here. But good morning to everybody. We got Royce here joining us again. We got Randy here again. Randy says good morning to everybody. Rich says good morning. Who else here? Ken. Ken will be second. Don't tell Jeff, Ken, but you're first. You're first. I'm kidding. Joe from Craftsmaster Journey, of course. Glenn is here. Dice DGen's here. All my friends are here. Love it. This is like, I wish you could be here. Like, you're here kind of, but you're not here. I wish it's like when everybody was here for the meetup, and we were actually in the garage just jacking around and having a good time. It was so cool to just have friends here in the house. Like now I'm like talking to the wall. You know what I mean? It's weird, but more in-person stuff to come for sure. That's the plan here. So actually, in thinking about that, there's a lot going on today, actually. I got to cover a few things with you. So let's get after it here. What's on tap for this show today is this. We're gonna spend the rest of the week. I'm gonna review some of what I said yesterday about low roller craps playing, and what I say about low roller craps playing is applicable to high roller craps playing. The main difference is what you can do with your bankroll. That's the real difference is by being a low roller, you eliminate a big set of ways to play. And I'll talk about that in a minute here. And I think that's an important thing for us to know. It's part of the reality check. I'll do a full session on it tomorrow, but I want to like highlight it a little bit today and talk tomorrow. Today our reality check is going to be about the 7. I'll warn you about that in advance. I got fired up yesterday about something that Jen and somebody else had said. And I want to make sure I cover that in completion today. So we'll do a little bit of a reality check there. But yeah, the winning formula really for craps, and I say this like it's a thing, like you can't win at craps, like long term, but the math of the game will eventually come and get you unless a couple of things happen, right? Like Alfredo's been on this great magical run recently. I think he's up like 10 grand over the last 4 or 5 trips, which is an amazing run. And he said it last night. Like that's not the normal reality. Like he's on a good hot streak. There are trips that he goes on where he doesn't win, right? It's not every time you walk away a winner. That's the nature of this game. You can't beat it, right? And that's why I say it's kind of an unbeatable game. But there's going to be times where you're on that wave and you can ride the wave and do great things. Here's the thing. And I think we have to realize that this is the most important piece. If you're going to be looking for the magic pill, the winning formula, whatever that looks like for you or the world. The winning formula is here. It's bankroll plus betting plus throws. And in that order of importance, okay, your bankroll determines how you bet. Like, for example, if you're buying in, like I usually do, 500 to 750 in that neighborhood is my typical buy-in. I cannot run even a $10 4 and 10 ladder that Wayland has. I cannot run the lay ladder on the 4 and 10, starting at $40, going to 80. I can't do it. There's not enough money in that rack to sustain the inevitable bad run I'm going to get on. I can't even run like the Dolly Ladderson. I love the Dolly Ladderson. You know that. That's a decent little strategy, but I can't run it at $500 with a quarter bet. You just can't do it. There's not enough money in the rack to run any kind of strategy that either chases loss like that. You have to know that going in. If you're going to want to run a strategy like that, your bankroll brings you to the bubble craps machine where your bets are $1 sized. And with $500, you've got now 500 cracks or levels to ladder things up with. That's what I mean by bankroll matters. And there's no shame in playing bubble craps. Bubble craps is a great game. If you want to play that way, your bankroll determines how you're going to bet. If you're playing at a regular table, a quarter table or a $15 table with 500, even up to $1,000, there are things you just can't do. You just cannot go 320 across. You cannot play the 220 Lagerman, right? Your bankroll determines it. That's number one, right? Make sure that you're crafting the way you're planning to play around your bankroll and what you can and can't do, what you are allowed to and not allowed to do without being a fool, okay? The next thing is you got to be a great bettor. right? If you're not a great bettor, and I don't mean great bettor, I don't mean you can read the table and follow the trends. Alfredo, again, made mention yesterday, I was throwing all the horns, he was betting the horns, right? I don't play that way, right? Personally, I don't chase what I see coming. Unless I'm making it happen, I don't chase it. I'm not that better. Some people are, and then they do it, and they do okay. I'm not that way. I'm not a believer, as you know, in in pure trends. So I don't bet that. I'll do it in the box because I'm set up in the box, and those bets don't just go away, right? On a crapless table where you can bet the horn numbers, and they stay there. Different story than just dropping money on the horn and donating it every roll, right? That's a whole different way, and that's where crapless has some juice to it, right? You could bet the horn numbers and leave them there. Great, I'm down with that part of crapless, right? But again, being a great bettor means understanding the payouts, understanding where you want to go with your bets, understanding how to work your bets that are out there, how to press, how to pull, when to pull. That's what I mean by being a great bettor. I think I'm one of the best bettors out there because I really do know when to press, how to press, and how and when to pull. I didn't make $5,000 on my 51 roller because in the moment I was down and I was in recovery mode for part of that roll. I think, although I could have made more money, that makes me a great bettor because I made good decisions. That's the second part of the winning formula. The third part is your throws, right? And we can debate all day long whether or not there is such a thing as a controlled toss or an influence shooter. There are people who will dogmatically say, hell no, ain't true. There are people who will dogmatically say you're a fool if you don't think you can influence the dice. There are people in the middle who are like, let me survive, right? The throws, and I don't mean your ability to throw, I mean the throws that happen on the table are the third part of the winning formula. And forgive me for saying this, but you can't control that. Okay? You can control your throw, what you're doing, and even then, you're succumbing to the randomness of the table most of the time. You cannot control what anybody else is doing. So the throws you get from the table are what you're going to get. You got to combine your bankroll and your strategy around the rolls you're going to get. And today's reality check is going to get us into understanding what's possible. And that's the reason for this week is this kind of low rollers sort of approach to it. And I think, again, if you're low rolling it, high rolling it is the same thing. Okay. It's the exact same thing. High rolling and low rolling, there's no difference. It's just the dollars are different. It's all about your goal and all that kind of stuff. All right. So let's get into it. Couple of things in the news to remind you of the Midmo Yo Layla Scholarship Fund. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to Jeff and all the guys about, and I'll talk to you about it right here. Okay. I want to, today is Wednesday, tomorrow night, I would love to do tomorrow night, and I know it's very short notice, but it's what we have. Before I leave on Friday to go to Kansas City to visit them, I would like us to do a quick show, like an hour or 2 hours, maybe some kind of an LFC style thing or something, or craps chat or whatever you want to do. And I think it should be all of us that have channels. Get on there. Let's just get together and do a quick fundraiser. We have the scholarship fund link. If we can do it in like an hour or two live, just horseshitting around, having some fun. Everybody pull their wallets out, throw 25, $50, whatever it is at Layla, and let's build that scholarship fund up so that when I get there on Saturday, Crystal and I can, talk about it. Obviously, you already set the account up and we can see what's in there. We don't have visibility into the account. It's not a public thing. Crystal will tell us where it's at. So if you guys are willing to do it, I would love to do it. I think we should consider doing something tomorrow night. I know it's, again, very short notice, but let's put our heads together. I'll talk to AZ today too and see if AZ can do it. Maybe Jacob can join us and we'll do a quick little, like kind of fly by night fundraiser for Layla. And that would be a really great way to kind of to do a send off there at the event. I would love to do that. So if you can do it, then let's do it. All right, there's that. As far as trips and meetups go, there's a lot happening here. Here's the first one. Chiro's. This is not really a meetup. This is it's not a gambling trip at all. I don't even think we're going to gamble. I'm staying at Harrah's in Kansas City because it's convenient to the airport. I'm flying in late. I'm leaving super early Sunday morning, so it's convenient to be there. We'll, I'm sure, have breakfast and talk and all that kind of stuff, but it's not really a gambling thing. But that's Saturday the 23rd in Lebanon, Missouri. There's the link, by the way, for the scholarship fund. If you want to donate ahead of our fundraiser to Layla's scholarship fund, it's yougift529.com, and there's her special code. You put that code into the website. They ask for your bank account routing number and whatever, and you just put it in, and off it goes. You can set it up to be recurring if you want to. You can do like $25 a month and just pulls out of your account like you would pay your mortgage. It's pretty convenient, actually. There's no fees, which is the reason why I suggested that Crystal use this one here. Is there's no fees. No fees to you to donate, no fees for her to pull it out. It's just it's a provided service. They make money on the back end with the investment, but that's it. So there's that. I got a couple of videos today from Alfredo and from Leon at Great Crafts. Thank you both for doing the videos. Anybody else wants to do a video and say something to Layla or to Crystal or to Chiro, do it. Let me know. If you want help doing it, I will work with you and we'll get it filmed up. All right. There's that meetup announcement. The next meetup I want to talk about is Crafts for the Cure. And I'll show you this slide every day. There will be days during this part of our morning show where I have the people from Veterans Moving Forward on with me to talk about what they're doing. We're going to film some spots with them and start getting the hype train going. I think I'm going to get one of them to come to Vegas with us, which is great. The dates, by the way, November 11th and 12th. It's Saturday, Sunday of that weekend. It'll be at Casino Quest. I'm staying at Harrah's. As you know, I am a Premier Casino host now with Premier Hosting. So I have the ability to get you either comped or semi-comped rooms and meals at any Caesars property. Harrah's happens to be super close to the mall, and that's why I chose it, because you can walk to Casino Quest in 5 minutes from Harrah's. It's a very simple walk, but I can get you in at Paris or Caesars or whatever, Planet Hollywood, any Caesars property, I got you, okay? If you don't want to be on the strip, you want to be off strip, we also represent station properties. So I can get you into GVR, Palace Station, the upcoming Durango, Red Rocks, all those ones out there. I'm a host there too. So if you want hosting services, you let me know. I'll hook you up. It's short notice for this trip. We got 2 months to get your plane tickets. Let me know if you want rooms. I will hook you up. All right, there's that. I will get the sign up form. The Crafts for the Cure website redesigned over the weekend. That's my when I'm in Florida on the airplane, that's what I'm doing, is getting the website redesigned. So next week we can start doing your tickets and everything else for that. So that's coming soon. Lot of juice coming for Crafts for the Cure soon. Again, interviews with the people at Vets Moving Forward. Starting taking the calls to action for if you have things to donate to it that you want to do a giveaway on. If you're going to be there, obviously I want to know if you're there. Things we can do while we're there. So this is going to be the kind of a primary focus of mine for a little while here. So apologies in advance for all the CFC videos that are coming and stuff, but it's important. The next thing that put out here for you too is there's a Vegas party. And again, as part of my work with Premier, we have put together in December, so a month after Crafts for the Cure, December 13th through the 17th, we've got a VIP lounge hooked up at the Golden Valley in Henderson, the GVR. It's going to be a watch party for the Vegas and the Bolts playing, the Raiders and the Bolts. We have a private craps table, 2 days of a private craps table. Michael Feldman, all those guys will be there. So a lot of the Golden Touch guys, if you're interested in watching them throw, there it is. That's a event you'll just need to call me on. If my phone number's there, or my email, john@procraps.net. Either way, get a hold of me. And again, if you don't have a host, I can be your guy. I'll hook you up and get you into this thing here, and also rooms for the Crafts for the Cure. So if you're in Vegas, if you're in the area, if you want a trip, you want something to do for Christmas, let me know and I'll hook you up here too. So that's going to be our premier casino hosting Vegas party, which is a football watch party in a private suite. It's going to be pretty damn cool. All right, moving ahead. Reality check time. So yesterday I gave you this reality check about how stunningly hard it is to get those 2 hits, right? We talk so much about, my whole life revolves around 2 hits and out, 2 hits and out, give me 2 hits and out, right? But it's super hard, right? When you play for 25 hours straight, essentially, you find out, you feel the difficulty of getting 2 hits when you're really trying and say, I'm going to focus on 2 hits, right? You find out how stunningly hard it is. It's really, 35% you're going to burn, right? Not getting just any box hits, right? You're going to burn almost 50% of the time, 44%. You're going to burn looking for 2 inside hits, right? And even if you're an influenced thrower, right? If you think you're an advantaged player and you're getting 1 less 7 and 2 more boxes, which is an amazing shift of the balance of power there, you don't increase those numbers by very much. The 2 inside hits goes up to 58% instead of 56%. You're still 48 or 42%, not going to get it. It's really hard, right? And I think the reason why, and again, the second reality check here is this, and this is what I want to talk about before I jump onto the table today, is this number here, 16.67%. That's 1/6, right? The 7 comes 1 out of every 6 times. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean that on roll 5, the 7's coming, right? That means on every drop of the dice, you have a 1 in 6 chance of a 7 showing up. And let me get my big dice here and show you why that is, right? And I think we all know this, right? But the 7 is unlike any other number where no matter what number comes up, here's the 2, right? When the 2 shows up on top, if it's the top die, right? I'll show it to you here. If that 2 is up and the other die, is still moving around out there, whether it's on axis or not, okay? This die always has the 5. There's no way that you can't make a 7. No matter what this one does, there's always a way to make a 7, right? With given a 2 here, right, there's no way for me to make a 9 or a 10, right? We know this. I can make a 4, I can make a 5, I can make a 6, I can make an 8, but I can't make a 9 or a 10 if a 2 shows up, right? The 7 is unique in that respect, that you can always make it. That's why we say it's a 1 in 6 chance, because there are 6 sides on this die. Every single roll, there's a 1 in 6 chance. Because you've rolled 5 or 10 or 30 times does not mean you're any closer to getting a 7. I know Jacob says that a lot. The math says that because the average is 1 out of every 6 over time. This weekend, we can take the weekend, for example, right? I had a 54 roller. Gina had a 44. Corey had multiple in the 20s. Jen had multiples in the teens. Tina, her wife, had a 20-plus roller, I think, twice. Right? Great rolls. And then we all had PSOs. And it all averages out to 1 out of every 6. 1 out of 6 is an average. But knowing that on every drop of the die, you're just that close to seeing it is a reality check. The 5 count is why I'm having this conversation. Went off yards on the 5 count. The 5 count doesn't protect you from this. People think that the 5 count saves you from a PSO, and it does save you from a PSO. It's not getting anything wrong. If you're not betting, you're not losing. The 5 count is it's a placebo, right? You feel like you're not getting your ass kicked because when the PSO happened, your bets were off. And I say, hooray for you. All you did was not bet. You didn't outsmart the game. You weren't betting. It's no different than you being in the car when that 7 happened. There's no difference there. You're just deciding for the moment not to bet. And it doesn't matter. If you take 5 rolls off and turn your bets on, right, on roll number 6, okay, on that roll, you still have a 1 in 6 chance of getting that roll to lose. It doesn't change. The fact that you saw 5 rolls before that doesn't change that the 6th roll still has a 1 in 6 chance, right? I make this comment here in yellow, okay? Bets that lose to a 7 will lose 1 out of every 6 times they are exposed, period. So if you wait 5 rolls and then go live with your bets, 1 out of every 6 times you do that, you're going to lose your bets. 5 times you're going to be okay. 1 time you're going to get your ass kicked. If you just let them set a point and put your bets on, right after the point gets set, PSO time, you're going to get PSO'd 1 out of every 6 times, and 5 times you're not. Just the way that it works. You can wait 30 rolls and go live. On the 31st roll, you have, guess what? A 1 in 6 chance of that bet losing. So every time you wait for 30 rolls, you're going to have a 1 in 6 chance of losing on the 31st roll. It doesn't change your odds of losing, right? The 7 is coming when the 7 is coming. It doesn't matter. And it's always a possibility, right? Not betting is not losing. It's also not winning. right? So know this. The reality check is this: not turning your bets off when the dice go off the table. I can guarantee you this: the dice go off the table, they come back on. 1 out of every 6 times, you're going to lose, and you're going to go, see, I told you. And 5 out of 6 times, you're going to win on that next roll, and you're going to say, see, you guys are all full of shit. It doesn't matter. Okay? 1 out of every 6 times, your bets are out there against the 7, they will lose. Seeing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rolls does not make it more likely to happen. It's the same likelihood on every single roll. Unless you're a magician and you can hide this from me, okay? Which is the reason why people practice. They think they can hide it from us, right? Unless you're that person, you're going to get crushed by the 7 1 out of every 6 rolls. And it doesn't mean on roll 5 you're in the weeds. It just means that you survived another roll, right? That's all that it is. And this is the reality of it. So remember, the reality of that coupled with the reality of getting 2 hits makes it really hard. The reason why 2 hits is hard to get, 2 box hits is hard to get 64% of the time. What is the math there, folks? Okay. If you look at that, 64%, the flip of that is 36%. 36% of the time you crash and burn trying to get 2 hits. That's because that's 2 7s, right? That's your other 2 rolls there. That's 16.67% on the other side of that thing twice. That's why it's hard to get, right? Twice you're going to get crushed. 4 times you're going to get the money. That's exactly how this thing works. So the reality check for you is this: don't craft a strategy where you're not betting and calling yourself a hero. It doesn't matter. When you're out there, you're out there. The 7's going to come whenever the hell it feels like coming, and you can't have that not be the reality. Okay, unless you're a magician and can pull it off. That's the reality check. So when you're crafting a strategy it's a purely right side strategy or a purely dark side strategy, where again, the don't pass, which is a bet that will lose on a 7, you will lose 1 out of every 6 of those don't pass bets. Guaranteed. Over time, your DP will get beat by the 7 1 out of 6 times. You may beat it 45 times in a row. Trust me, coming up, you're going to get beat by it enough times to make the averages work out. That's just the way that the world works. So there's your reality check. The 7's a bitch. It's going to get you. You got to bet so that when it's not coming, or on the bets where it doesn't come, you're capitalizing when it doesn't come. And that has to be the reality of it. Understood? You say unless you're playing dark side. Yeah, unless I'm playing dark side, then I never see the frickin' thing, right? That's my thing, right? That's very important. But anyway, there you go. There you go. That's the thing. All right, now let's move in. We were talking yesterday about this, and I want to recap yesterday and move into today. Yesterday we talked about low roller, what I call a run and gun style of play. The run and gun style of play is running the base, right? Starting with the target, working backwards. I want to play 64 across. That's my dream. My dream is to play 64 across for free. The low roller run and gun mindset is run to that. Find a way to get there quick. Tier pressure, right? 64 across is your starting point, right? 2 or 4 box hits. You press, and you're out. You're at 64 across and you're playing for free, right? That's a way it doubles up or more your spread and you go, right? You can play the red cross or in anything but 7, right? Iron cross, 85 inside, a little bit of field, a little bit of line bet. You take any 2 rolls that aren't a 7. Any 2 non-7 rolls will get you to 44 inside, okay? Any 3 will get you to 64 across, roughly paid for, okay? Starting with high bets, you're lowering down. It's a regression system. You can do a baby storm, right? 128 across. It's 4 units on all the numbers. A little bit of DP, a little bit of odds. Any 3 box hits, down, down, down. You end up at 64 across with about $10 in profit and your money back, right? All of those plays are things that I enjoy doing. I like to start low and go high and come back down. I like the tier pressure way, right? The red cross, a little bit higher, right? But you're guaranteed 3 rolls, not 3 hits. And the baby storm, again, any 3 box hits, you're going to be okay. But you're starting higher. You're starting up here a little bit. And it makes it harder, right? When you get beat in the Iron Cross by PSO, you got more money out there. You got $120 versus 64, right? When you get beat in the baby storm, you get more money out there. If your don't gets picked, it's $140. Yeah. And if you, if you don't get it, you're gonna get torched on these higher bet strategies, more risk, right? Low rollers, again, if your bankroll doesn't let you put 120 out there, you're not playing the red cross. If your bankroll doesn't let you lose a few $20 DPs on the way to putting 120 in odds and perhaps getting picked, don't play that. You can't do that. You've got to go tier pressure or something else if you're going to run to base, some kind of up and pull kind of a thing. Now, today I want to talk about this. This is an important thing, which is the power of the same bet. I'm calling this a low roller lock and load. What I mean by that is lock it in at your base, and then load up, create opportunity, right? Same betting is super powerful. And I think we don't talk about it enough. I've done videos where I've shown you in the first 5 hits, the same better is the best way to play, right? If on any number, right? If I go same bet, 15 to 1, let's say 15 for 1 on a 5 or 9 or something. Same bet. So 15, boom, 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 boom. 5 hits, $75, right? We're jamming. If I'm press, and then I take 1 hit, or if I press, collect, press 7, that 5th roll, that person actually loses to the same better. I'll show you that here again. I'll prove that out to you here. It's great on the short runs. It's the best way to play a short run, actually, okay? Every roll while you're doing this reduces your risk, and I will show you that as well, okay? It takes longer to get where you want to be, 4 to 5 box hits, right? Then you can restart the process, or you can go 3 or 4 box hits and regress down. I'll show you how that works too. The power of same betting, if you're a low roller, is amazing. If you're a high roller, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, okay? Same betting is a powerful way to go at it. You don't have to come run and gun out of the gate. I like to do that sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Same betting is the way to get the first 5 or 6 hits and be okay. And I'll show you why. Let's go to the table. Let's go out here. I'm going to show you why that is the truth. The way and the truth. Here we go. Lights coming on. I think we have motion there. Okay. Let's do a couple of things. Let me get my glasses on so I don't have to squint so much over here. I got 64 across sitting out there. I'm just going to take one of the numbers. Okay. We'll take the 9. And I'm going to put in five whites in my rack. I'm going to do 15 for 1 5 times, just so you can see it. Let's same bet the 9. Let's pretend we got 5 9s in a row. All right. And we know it's going to pay 15 for 1 5 times. Okay. 5 times 15, we know this, is $75. The same bettor is going to win $75. Okay. If this number rolls 5 times. Okay. 15 for 1, 15 for 1, 15 for 1, again and again. That makes $75 for this player. Okay. On a low roll. Now, if you take, let's just say that's actually reduced back. Let's say it's 4. Let's take 4 as the number, okay? That would be $60. 15 for 1, 4 times. So 15 times 4 is 60. Let's just do four hits and out. 4 hits is a miracle, but let's just say that's where we got to, okay? Versus the guy who's doing the other one. Now let's take a look at how this pencils. I think it's important to see this. This is really important. Let's hit the first hit. We're exposed for $64. Okay. The first hit, 15 for 1. I take $15 off the table. What is my risk level now? Okay. I'm 64 minus 15. So that's 54. Now my risk now is $49. So with the first hit, I took a little bit into the rack. Now my exposure to the 7 is $49. I've reduced my exposure, which I think is super important. Okay. The next hit, again, 15 for that 1. Now I've got $30 in my rack. My exposure to the 7 now is $34. So when the 7 comes on roll 3, okay, if I was doing a 2-hit strategy and we didn't get our second hit, let's say it was a 10 or something we weren't on, here I'm exposed for $34 instead of $64. I'm not losing my whole bankroll. I'm losing half of my spread. Right? On the third hit, 15 for 1. Now I have 45 in the rack, right? So what's my exposure now? $19. Right? 45 from 64, $19. Again, on the third hit, If the 7 comes, it would suck, but it would be a $20 suck, not a $64 suck. If you're just trying to hit the home run out of the gate, right? On the fourth one, finally, you're at another 15 for 1, and your total risk is the cap on the 6 and 8. It's the $4. That's your risk. 4 hits in, and you're out of it. And now you can do something interesting, right? After your 4 hits, you can do something interesting. The nice thing about it, like I said, is that your risk is going down with every single roll of the dice. Now, if I'm playing tier pressure, which is a little bit different than that, tier pressure says, okay, 15 for 1 on the 9, I stack it up, right? Remember, I stack it up on the 9. Boom. Now what's my exposure to the 7? On roll 2, I'm still exposed for $64. I'm not exposed for this, right? Remember, out of my rack came $64. I'm exposed for the $64. If the 5 roll, or let's say the 6 rolls, and again, we'll do 15, we'll do the $14 here. 6 rolls, you get paid $14. You exchange the cap, and you get $2 back in your rack. Now what am I exposed for? I'm exposed for $62. I didn't really get any juice out of that, right? Let's say that the 8 rolls, and again, it's $14. We can do $14 here. Again, we'll exchange the cap. Now what am I exposed for? On roll 4, coming up, I'm exposed for $60. The same bet guy was exposed for what at this point? He was exposed for $19 at this point. So if the 7 comes here, we lose it all. That guy loses $19, and there's an advantage to that. There's an advantage to losing a little bit less as you go on this. That's why I say same bettors have a big advantage in these early stages. Now, if I happen to pop an 8 here for $28, and I come back down to 64, this is where we have the built-in advantage coming, right? We're going to pop it back down, and now this player has 50, 60, whatever all this mess here is. That's $10. He's got $71. So there's his $65 that he started with, essentially. $6 in profit. Where the other guy had $2. The other guy was down $4. We're up $6. There's the transition is on roll 4, right? But you're exposed for a longer period of time. When you're doing a press to get there, you're full exposed longer than the same bettor. The same bettor, again, has this beautiful advantage, I think, on the early rolls of being more safe the longer the roll goes. Follow me? Now, there's a point in time where that person starts getting hurt a little bit, right? Where they aren't getting juiced up. You know, $15 on my particular roll there, where I had, what was it, 18 box numbers on my 51 roller? I think 18? So I think it was 18 box numbers, right? If I stay here, I'm only getting paid $15 18 times. Okay. Whereas if I'm pressing, those wins become a little bit more juice to them. And that's why you transition from this to something more aggressive later. But again, the first 4 rolls, let's actually roll it out. Let's get a point. There's a 9. I'm going to roll this with you, the 9. And we'll do it again, low roller, $64. I can do this for a $600 buy-in and not care, right? There's a 9. We get paid. I'll do it the first time, $14. We'll just manage our rack, $14. Okay, puck is off. There's an 8, hard 8. And by the way, that's 2 rolls, right? That was a 9, and an 8. And here's a midnight, right? So some people would say to you, oh God, that's roll 4. You're getting closer to the 7. I would say to you right now, I have the same chance of getting a 7 right now as I did on the first roll. It doesn't change. I'm not using up numbers to get to a 7. I'm just, right? I got a 1 and 7. I got a 1 and 6 right now, just like I did before. The difference is that I got $14 off that table, and the person doing the 5 count didn't. Right? They would be coming up live. Here's roll 5. Right? There's an aces. Doesn't matter. This person here who's waiting for the 5th roll is like, okay, well, now I can come in, and yeah, they got it, but they're a roll behind me. Okay, we'll do the 6. 15 for 1. They finally turned their bets off, right? On. And again, they're at 14. I'm at $28 in my rack. I've covered a good share of my money back on that 5th roll. We cut to 7 at any point in time here, we're not going to worry about it. There's a 9, right? 9, I'll pay 15 for 1. I'll put the 1 over here. And look at our rack. Let's get the rack. There's 25 bucks, and there's 15. That's $42 in the rack. What's my exposure? 64 minus 42, whatever the hell that is, right? It's 22 bucks. There's a 10. Fantastic. 10 pays 20. It pays 18 bucks. We'll do 20 for our 2 white chips. And now you can look at where we are. There's 50 bucks. There's 5. It's hard to see. There's 5 reds there. There's 5 reds there. There's 2 reds here. That's 60 bucks. Okay. I'm done. Okay. All on the way, my exposure was lower, and it took us 8 rolls to get there, right? 8 rolls, not 8 hits, right? 4 hits, 8 rolls, because of all the horns and the come outs we had. We had a come out 9, a come out 8, and 2 horn numbers. That's those. There's the 4 hits that we got. There was 4 wasted rolls there, and there always is wasted rolls. But here we are. We same betted our way to a good place, and we were reduced in our risk the entire way. The person who was doing the full press or the spread press to get there, it would have experienced the exact same 4 wins that we did, which was, what was it? It was the 9, the 6, the 8, and the 10, I think. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. There was 4 hits up here, the 10 being the last one. The other guy experiences the exact same hits, brings back roughly the same amount of money, but they were exposed to the 7 the entire time for the entire amount, where we reduced our risk every time. If the 7 would have came at any point in time, we would have cared, but it wouldn't hurt quite so bad. And now we're in a spot where it's time to make a decision as a player. I'll hide the dice from you here so you don't see what happened, okay? As a player here, as a low roller, you can make the call, right? And the call might be this. I got to 64 across. I created opportunity in 4 rolls. I'm going to keep on playing and hope we get a good long run. The worst thing that can happen to me is I lose it right now and just try it again. I've got enough money in my rack to try it again. That's option 1. Option 2 is, look at this, 50 bucks. 50 bucks. Bring all this down. And there's almost 100% profit. It is 100% profit, essentially. Start with 64, you got 60, lock 50, come with 10. Or field for 10. Or do our tokes and go home. That's another option you've got. Because, again, there's no law that says you have to keep playing this game. Okay? Now, I said this the other day when I was with my friends over the weekend, I did keep playing the game. Even though I was in this spot 15 times. I had made 100 or 150 off of a play, and I'm like, that's time to leave. That's time to color up and go on out of here, right? Or go play some roulette or something. But no, we're at the table. We're going to keep playing. So if you're going to make the choice to keep playing, what you're saying is, I'm okay with having enough money to just like start. I did a lot of work. This is a lot of work. 7 rolls, a lot of work to feel like you're here, right? I'm willing to burn all the work I just did for the chance to keep playing. Or you can say, I just did a lot of work and I'm taking my work home. Your choice. Let's keep playing. What I just rolled was a 6, by the way. I don't want to show it to you because it doesn't matter. I want to skew the results here. But now that I've got a 6 coming, right, now you can become the aggressive person that you want to be or the passive person you want to be. If I keep same betting here and we keep rolling numbers, this is going to become less powerful than if I do this. If I just even take and do a 1-unit press and bring back something to my rack. Okay. Matter of fact, there's my 65 bucks. That's my actual starting bankroll. I'm locking up $3 in profit. At this point, I can't lose. It took me a lot of rolls to get there, but I can't lose. Or you can spread it out. Whatever you want to do, right? This is where you start reading the table. The guys say, well, now you start betting what's coming. Okay. And the 10 comes. Again, it's 18. It's 20 for 2. Okay. You can 1-unit press the 10 and take 15 bucks back to your rack. And just slow roll it out here, right? As a low bankroll player, right? Hard pressing, full pressing. There's the 8. It's going to pay again 14 bucks. We'll do 15. We'll do 14. I need the cap. 14. Right? We'll exchange the caps. I'm going to go 1 unit press. So now the 6 nader at 18 bucks. I'm going to bring back a red and some whites, and the puck is off, right? You can do this now forever and not feel like you're going to leave your whole bankroll on the table, right? A single unit press is pretty good, especially when you're getting into like the 10 or 12 rollers, right? At 10 or 12 rolls, the single unit press does way more for your pocketbook here than a full press does, okay? Just as the same bettor has the advantage over the presser in the early first 4 or 5 hits, the single unit presser has the advantage over everybody else in the next 4 or 5 hits because they're bringing back more money to the rack with each subsequent hit. Watch, let's do it again. Let's get a new point. There's a 5 for the new point. I'm not roll tracking anymore, doesn't matter. I hope we get an inside number here, it'd be great. There's an 8, perfect, a hard 8. So now we get this, right? That's gonna pay the 21 bucks. 18 pays 21. And again, single unit press goes to 24 with the 8, which is a good bet. And I'm bringing back $15. And again, as a low roller, especially when you're in a recovery mode, that 15 bucks is an important thing. It's kind of a big deal to bring back 15 bucks versus taking, and I like to do this, I take the $18 8 all the way to 36, right? That's my normal move. I go 18 to 36, and let's pound it, right? If I went 18 to 36, I would not have that 15 bucks in my rack. I would still be here. And if the 7 comes, I cost myself another crack at this whole thing, right? And that's an important thing to remember. How much you're bringing back, wickedly important. Again, if you're low rolling it especially, you got to bring money back into your rack. And there's no shame in single unit pressing. Matter of fact, if you're single unit pressing and you got to take a leak, you can tell your dealer, I'm going to go take a leak. Can you please single unit press me? And you can put a towel on your rack and you can walk away for 15 minutes. The roll's going to keep going. They will press you up. It's easy. It's super simple to do that, right? Half pressing is the same way. Half pressing makes these bets more powerful, but less comes back. Full press, collect, which we're going to do tomorrow, is super powerful on a monster roll, but not every roll's a monster, right? These are optimized, and I think honestly, when I'm doing this single unit press, I like to catch 5 or 6 single unit presses before I start increasing. So if I catch, I think we're on like our second one. That was the 6, and then the 8 were single unit. Oh, 6, 8, and 10. Actually, these, right? This one, and this one all got single unit press. This one got twice. This one once. The 10 here, by the way, 15 is going to pay $27. This is going to now go to 20. I'll drop a nickel out. It goes to 20. That's a buy, and I brought back a green chip. Okay, now I've done 4 or 5, whatever it was. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 single unit presses, which again, I think has the advantage over every other play in the early goings here. Now that you've got this, and what this is, there's another green chip. I'm going to show you what this looks like. There's 55. I'm going to put 4 whites back here. There's the first 64 bucks. There's $61, which means I can do it again. Okay, $61 plus what's out here, which is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and change. That's $100 in profit. If you're a low roller and you bought in for $500, that's more than 20%. You can get the hell out. Know that, okay? But also at this point in time, that right there buys you not only the chance you just went out here with, but you've bought another shot at a monster. This buys you another crack at it if you want it. That was an 11, by the way, it doesn't matter. Here's an 8. All right, that's going to pay $28. Choice is going to be, where do you go from here? To me, my next bet from here is going to be a big one. I've already collected single unit press. I'm going to go here, 25, $42. Next bet, next one here is 50 for 1. That's a big one. I'm going to take a nickel from those whites, and here we go. There's 65 bucks. That's another full crack. There's 64, there's 65. I've earned myself another chance at a monster, and I'm locked up an additional $6 plus what's out here. Right? Slow rolling it is not bad. There's a 9. I hear people apologizing for this all the time. The 9 is going to pay 15 for 1. 15 for 1. And again, the 9 hasn't been done anything. The first roll we've seen of a 9, right? Do you full press it? Do you half press it? What mode are you in right now, right? I feel like we've already done the single unit press 4 or 5 times. I'm going to go single unit here first, and then we're going to start full pressing it after that, right? Let's get a single unit on the 9, and then we'll go. There's the 7. Okay, that's fine. It ends finally. That was a good roll there. We left some money out here on the 8. I could have pulled back another 15 bucks on that 8, but after 4 single unit presses, I went to a double unit press on that number. We didn't get aced out here. Not too bad. There's a, I'm going to kind of get the things reset so we can see what we had. There's 60, boom, boom. There's a 64 across. What was out here beyond the 64 was $51. All right, so we had $51 in presses out here that could have been in our rack if we just same betted. So not same betting, quote unquote, cost you 51 bucks in your, that's what you had pressed up to, plus this out here. As it stands, you could have pulled back. Whoops. Let's do all the math. 65 bucks that you had locked, plus 15 is 85 or 80, plus 20 is 100, plus 64. Plus 6 is 70. Plus that is 195 total. 195 total on that little roll. Not bad, right? That's not a bad, and we slow rolled the hell out of that thing, right? We got some same bets, little single unit press, so same bet for 4, single press for 4, and then we started doing the double unit press. So we kind of increased our pressing as the roll went on to increase our power, but really the most important thing to me was getting the rack right? Got our money back, got another shot at it, got 15 or 16 bucks locked, additional lock, and now we're out here kind of freewheeling it. That was a great way to play, and what ends up being about a 15 roller in the end. That was about 15 rolls all told, which is above average. That's not a bad way to play an above average roll, folks. You don't have to make a grand on that roll to feel like you're a success story. But the takeaway is this. Let's go back to 64. We're going to start the whole thing over again, and I want to do one more quick run because I think, you know, of course, getting a roll that's kind of magical doesn't always tell the story. Let's turn the puck off, another 64 across, and let's, again, remember the risk levels that we're at. 6, 4, 10 on the end. There's your point. There's a 5. Let's count the nits, right? There's a, oh, that was a 5. Sorry, 3, 2, 5. That's going to be 14 bucks. Same bet. I'll use the Lammers this time. There's 1. Right? What's our risk right now? 64 bucks we started with. We got 14 bucks in the rack. We same betted it. Our risk is 50 bucks. You see a 7 here. We're down 50. We're not down 64. Every roll is a helper. Okay, there's another 5. We'll pay 15 for $1. I'll put the whites there and the reds here. That's going to be, matter of fact, I'm going to color those up. I want you to see the color in the rack. There's 25, $28 in the rack. Okay, we start with 64. What's our risk level now? 64 minus 25 is 54, 44, $39. Plus the 3, $36 at risk. We're about half our risk right now. If the 7 shows here, we lose less money than everybody else loses. You follow me? 8, 15 for 1. Now we're at $42 in the rack. And again, 42, 52, 62, 64. Our risk is now $22. 2 hits in. Our risk is 22 bucks. The 7 comes, it'll suck, but it won't ruin my day. I'm not going to bitch about losing 20 bucks. There's the 7 right there. I'm not going to bitch about losing 20 bucks like I would bitch about losing 64 bucks. It's a whole different ballgame. I think getting your money off this table quickly is hyper important. If you're going to do the inside press and come down, you're exposed for a longer time. And you know how I feel about time at the table. The long run of inside pressing and pulling that we have done recently, it's fun. It works when it works. When it doesn't work, you burn the whole $66 or the whole $88 or the whole $110. You burn all of it. Same betting it, you burn part of it. Again, here's a 1, 2 hits and you're out. 2 hits and bye-bye. Everybody else is pissed. You're like, that sucked, but I can survive it again. I'll take that little bleed. Okay. And if you're playing this, by the way, at, big boy levels, and by big boy, you can do this, right? 160 across is not huge, but it's big, right? Those same two hits are $70, right? There's 25, 35, and there's 25, 35. That's $70. That's not hay. That's, for some people, damn close to a paycheck, okay? If you're playing this at the really bigger levels, right, you want to go 320 across. Okay, 320 across looks like this. It's $50 per spot. Cat the 6 and the 8. Those same two rolls, that pays $70 for one of them, and it pays $70 or $75 for 5 for the other one, and you're out of town with $150, right? That's my paycheck upstairs. I'm looking for a $150 win off of $1,500. Well, there it is in 2 rolls, right? If you can afford to play at this level, same betting is just fine, right? $75 or $150 out of 320 in 2 rolls, you're half your money's off the table. And if the 7 comes, it sucks, but it's a $160 loss instead of a $320 loss. I think the power of same betting gets poo-pooed a lot. And I think we need to, as a group, think about that. I'm going to come back to the table here. I think we as a group need to all be eyes wide open here about same betting. Okay, there's no, it's not something to ridicule somebody for who's same betting. I've seen people look at somebody who's same betting and go, man, you should have made so much more than that. That's a shame you're doing it that way. Let me teach you what to do. I've seen that, right? And that's off-putting to me. I've also seen people who do same bet feel shame in it. Like, same bet. And they kind of like hide their, it's nothing to be ashamed of, right? Same betting is powerful, very powerful in the short run. The first 4 or 5 rolls, same better is the guy. That's the guy making the money. In the next 4 or 5 rolls, single unit press is making more money than everybody else. In the next 5 rolls, if you happen to get there, go crazy. Double press or do a half press or full press collect kind of thing. That's when you make your transition is then. I think it's important to remember. Now, I'm gonna give you a little preview of what's happening tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow, I'm gonna stay on the same track. Okay, yesterday we looked at going a little bit higher and working our way down to base. Today we looked at staying at base and hoping to God we get our couple of hits. Tomorrow we're gonna work a hammer strategy, okay, where we're gonna go at base, maybe play with a don't. This is a more advanced play, but go at base 64 across with perhaps a don't pass with some odds, just to kind of make it a 6, 7, 8. We're gonna same bet every number the first time. So the 8 hits is the same bet. The second time the 8 hits, I start working that 8. Every number is gonna be a same bet on its own, and then we're gonna play the rest of them hard in some sort of a rhythm pressing way. It's gonna be a little more aggressive, but also working in some of the safe stuff. That's tomorrow. We're gonna go from same betting, the basic same bet, to the same bet as part of something a little bit bigger than that. That's tomorrow. And whatever that looks like for you, as far as how aggressive you want to be, I'll leave it in your hands. So there's that. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and look at the questions here. Any questions for me? Let's see. No questions there. I'm gonna look at the PCs here. Wow. Hold on. I need to get my glasses on. Ken's live. Oh, you're talking about. So DGen is in for the thing tomorrow, for my idea for tomorrow night. Craftsman's Journey can't do it because it's working. Of course you're working. You're like me, man. I know you work overnights. I work noon to 9, which kind of screws everything up. But we'll figure out a way to get it. We'll figure out a way to make this work. Hyperpress Nemo is gonna DM me for a video. I will, do that, please. The Saturday service is at 4 o'clock. I think it's at 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock is the service time. Jen, I think she's got 2 hours in there set up for like the videos and people to talk, like that kind of thing. So as I understand, that's what's going to happen. So TCS bonus is the 60 to 90 minute trip report for PNW. Yes, That's perfect. We can do, like, if you like did 6 Centrals, that's 4 o'clock Pacific, right? So if you went from 4 to 6 Pacific, that would be 7 to 9 Eastern. We can go at like 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, and do like an hour and a half something. Well, let's talk about it offline, but everybody who's listening here, plan for some time around that time. Maybe we'll do a little fundraiser. It'll be pretty fun. All right. Let's see. We have Darksider saying, try doing with 3 rolls off of the point. If not, regress. Yeah. So, and again, I wasn't pressing this. I can't really regress the table minimum, but on the other strategies, sure. If you don't get your 3 hits, you got to come down. You got to come down. And I think that's when you do like the storm or these like 320 across, where you're kind of like logarithming down or something. You don't get your money back in three rolls. You got to get the hell out of there. You got to come on down. I think it's important. Let's see. TCS about risk reward. How do you handle in the live casino? Bad and good. Yeah. Knowing how to, you're talking about the earliest thing I said. Knowing how to bet is a difference maker, and bankroll helps make that decision. It gives you, big bankroll can give you a little bit of false bravado sometimes too. So be careful if you buy in for a grand or two or 1,500 or something. You may have, oh, screw it, I got money in the rack. Keep on. You got to still be here. You got to be Mr. Discipline. I think that's pretty important. So let's see. Look, there's a lot of PCs in there. I should have been watching this when I was going, but I really can't see it. Yeah, Darksider says this, and of course that was the whole point of my show, was to do some 1 unit pressings for sure. We didn't see forwards very often, but all the one hit wonders that we had over the weekend, all those, at least you're not losing 64 or 66. You're losing part of that, which is, I think, that's the point of same betting, is you're losing part of it, so your overall loss is less as you're moving forward, and that's just an important thing to remember. It just reducing your loss as you go is good. When you get the 4 hits, the miracle that is, then you have your what am I going to do, right? Pull it down and stop, pull it down and go home, be safe, whatever you want to, or go. That's up to you. Yeah. So micro gambler, if I sister press the 5 or 9 on the first 4 hits, you're talking about more of a, this right here, what you're saying, micro gambler, is going to be more about this tomorrow. So tomorrow, what I'm going to say is this: same bet your first hit of the number, then you're going to rhythm press after that. What you're suggesting here is a way to rhythm press the 5 or 9, right? Which is totally cool. Once you're clean, to me, once a bet is cleared, like that bet is paid for itself, you can do whatever you want to with it. And that's, I think, what you're going for. This is great. This is great stuff, and I think it's part of that third step that I got down there that you're going to play each number with. So, yeah, Dr. Dan, I drove 45 minutes and I'm not quitting $50 profit. Well, then you're a dumbass. I mean, I don't mean that in the bad way. What's your goal? Like, I always come back to the same old thing, right? What's your goal? If I'm playing to build my bankroll, and like I'm doing in the garage, I'm trying to build a bankroll. I want to go from $1,000 to a $10,000 bankroll. I want to go from 10,000 to 100. I want to build it up, right? You don't build a bankroll by hitting home runs. You just don't. I mean, it works. They happen. That's not your go-to-market strategy. Your go-to-market strategy for building a bankroll has got to be consistent wins at whatever number they happen to be. If I'm going to build a bankroll and I drive 45 minutes, and let's say I walk up to the table and I go, bam, $50. I'm like, shit, that was hard. It's hard to win $50. By the way, it's not easy. If I'm there to build my bankroll, I built my bankroll, I'm leaving. If I bought them for 500 and I won 50, bye-bye, or 60 or 70, bye-bye. I'm okay with that. If I'm on vacation, people come to Seattle to play with me, and they're here to play craps for hours and have fun and do the thing, that person's not driving 45 minutes and leaving with $50. They're just not going to do it. They're there for a different reason, right? It's what's your reason for going. If your reason for going is to win a little bit and get out, win a little bit and get out. You and I, Dr. Dan, went to Golden Valley. I love telling this story, by the way. We went to the GVR, you and me, and we were there for what, 30 minutes maybe? We drove around for a while. You couldn't find parking. We got parking. We got into the casino. We got our thing. I got my card and the whole thing, right? Get to the table. That couple was there. They rolled like shit. I get the dice. We made the hopper work. Remember, we made the hopper work. and you went like 330 inside, you pressed and you pulled down, you had a don't pass bet out there. I worked what I was doing for a minute. And when I made my point, you looked at me and said, "Are you done?" Because you had made 180 bucks or whatever it was you had made. I think you made 300 bucks. I'd made like 180 bucks. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And I lowered my bets table minimum. I finished out my roll and we went home. Right? You and I were there to have fun and we actually both walked out. That's a great way to do it if that's your goal. That actually gave me enough money to play my next round. It was perfect. That's totally fine to do. If you're not willing to leave with a small profit, don't make the drive, is what I would say to that person. Don't make the drive if you're not willing to leave. Or make the drive and say, I'm going to light $1,000 on fire, or I'm coming home with 3,000. If that's going to be your thing, then drive 45 minutes and light your money on fire. That's totally your decision, right? But again, if you're trying to build a bankroll and you're serious about building your bankroll so you can play at bigger levels for a longer time in your life, you've got to be willing to leave. You got to be willing to leave. It has to be okay. And if 50 bucks isn't enough, then your bankroll's too small, right? If you're buying in for 500 and you win 50, that was work. Trust me, that's hard work to do. If you need more than 50 bucks, you need more bankroll and bigger bets, and that's your decision. So I'll do a whole show on that someday, how important that is. All right, let's see. Anything else? TCS says, Uncle Mel, 254 with 220 inside, 35 in the field, 2 collects and down to 110, right? Totally, right? Better than waiting for 2 inside hits sucks. The Iron Cross can work. This is a Red Cross sort of a thing here. It can work. You just got to have your levels right? If your levels aren't right, you're going to get crushed playing the 6-7 or the ABS. You'll get crushed if your levels aren't correct. At 254 with a small field, that works well. But otherwise, people who play the Iron Cross at the wrong numbers, like 25 and 15, you can't make any money that way. You'll be there. You'll burn your money the entire time, or you'll bleed your money out. So Mel's got it right. The levels are huge in an Iron Cross. They are the biggest thing. John K, I understand taking the 50 bucks to build your bankroll, but it's really 50 bucks if you're spending 45 minutes driving. Again, I don't worry about the expenses. The gas money, yeah. Well, actually, I should lie. The gas money today kind of sucks, right? It is what it is. But 50 bucks is not a lot of money. I'll agree with you there. If you only have 500 bucks, that's what you're looking for, though, right? If 50 bucks isn't enough, then you got to buy it. You got to go there with $1,000 and look to an 100 or 150. Then it becomes worth it. You got to make the money, make that number, that walk away number, worthwhile, if that makes sense. In the interim, in the short term, when you only have 500, you got to be okay with it. 500 becomes 550. 550 becomes 625. 625 becomes 700 because your 10% goes up, right? 700 becomes 775, and within 6 trips you're at $1,000. Now you're making $100 every time. You can do that. You can work your way up if you're smart about it. And yeah, it's gonna burn your gas money in the first 5 or 10 trips. After a while, the compounding size of your bankroll mitigates that early 50 bucks. If you're going $500, 50 bucks, 30 times in a row, that's not smart. 500 to 550, 550 to 625, 625 to 700. Now you're getting bigger buy-ins. And the compounding nature of that is where I think that works. And John, I hope that made sense the way I explained that, because that's what I'm doing in the garage, right? My daily paycheck out there, my buy-in is relative to the size of my bankroll. My bankroll grows every day. So the buy-in gets bigger every day. And that's why I can put bigger bets out there. So, all right, we're at 9:05. Let's move ahead here. Let's go. Wow. Quick review of daily paycheck. We're 9 and 3 with the Molly. So far, knock on wood, 2 super easy days this week. 2 days. First shooter made their points, made their numbers, and I was out, right? It's not because of how I change things. It's because I happened to get some good rolls this week. So I'll take that. We're doing okay. Knock on wood. Hopefully today's a good day. I'll see you up there in about 5 minutes to finish up today's daily paycheck. And yeah, I think my final thoughts really, and we've done the questions, my final thoughts really are just what I said. Be okay with your goal. Let your goal drive you. Let your bankroll drive what your goal is. Build the bankroll. You want a bigger goal, get a bigger bankroll. That's the most important thing, right? You want more money, you need a bigger bankroll to make the bet sizes more. 64 across is hard to make any kind of quote unquote real money, but 64 across becomes 320 across when your bankroll's bigger. When your bankroll is 3K, you're at 320 across, not 64, right? And those wins become 150 in 2 rolls. You follow me? That's the thing. Build your bankroll, manage your money, play smart, man. That's the whole thing. Yeah, Dice Doctor, if you're worried about the gas money, you shouldn't be gambling anyway. But it's a real thing. Gas is $5 a gallon here in Seattle, so it's not like it's cheap. 45-minute ride, like to me to go to the casino and back, 45 minutes, that's a $20 bill in the car, right? But I'm not going to win $50, right? I'm going up there to win a couple hundred, right? That's the difference. So the $20 I don't care about, right? If it's spending 20 to win 50, you feel like you're spinning your wheel some, but you know, it's what it takes. It takes a grind. All right, I'm late. I'm late. Let me go get some new Java and get the garage all set up, and we'll see you for daily paycheck. Y'all rock. Thank you very much for being here. God bless all you. See you in a little bit. Bye.